Okay, it's time to demonstrate the Nether Chest Shrug. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah! Cue the corny intro music. Alright, I'm gonna show like 3 different angles on how to do this, okay? And hopefully I'll take enough, well, not 3 different angles, I'm gonna show 3 different versions of it from multiple angles, okay? And hopefully this will clarify some things. Somebody told me they did this and they got sore traps, so let me show you the first important thing to know. Okay, the barbell version of it, the 2-hand barbell behind the back version of it, you need something to lean against. Usually I put some boards up here and some padding. You need something strong to lean against, to push against hard with your back, because you get your feet out, okay? You arch up. Now, see, if you're too upright while you're doing this, it's just going to be, a shrug for your traps. But as the angle goes back further and further, and your hands are back like this, it becomes a shrug for your chest, your upper chest here. When you're using this barbell, focus on pulling inward to lift the weight, okay? And you can load this up heavy. Strap up so your hands aren't a limiting factor. When you get good at this, first learn it. I'm not saying go heavy right now, but ultimately you'll be able to go real heavy, pull inward as you're coming up. You're squeezing your chest together. You're trying to touch your shoulders together in front. Practice leaning and finding your angle. Find the angle. For me, going back really far like that really works. It allows me to pull right here with my chest. That's where the action's happening, okay? And that's what's picking up my arms and lifting that bar. Let's see. Was that a good camera angle? Let's try, go a little higher. I'll just show the chest just to make sure we got that in the picture. Okay, same thing. Overhand grip. When you get heavy, use lifting straps. Okay, so your hands don't become the issue. So you can really focus on getting this angle right so that your chest has to pull in. You can try different hand widths. A little bit wider helps sometimes with this one. So you're pulling in and up. You're squeezing that chest in. Oh, lifting all that weight. Okay? That's the 2-hand behind the back barbell version. I think that was okay. That was a good angle. Let me show now the second version of it I showed. That's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of like a T-bar row, except completely different. So it's not really like anything. Nether Chest Shrugs. Okay. Let me make sure I got that in the picture. Okay, the back. Brace the back of your barbell against something. Now let's pretend we got our plates on it. Okay. This is the end that I'm going to be loading up with plates. I'm going to find a way to attach my grips either to the very end or back here just behind the weights. Either way, it's going to serve the same purpose. So whatever works according to what bar you have and what you have to attach to it. In my case, let's just use this thing. All right. Okay, so the first thing to see is what the hands are doing. Now I'm leaning back. I'm going to show that in a while, the body angle from a different position. But right now, focus on what the hands do. As they come up and back, they're going to rotate in as far as possible, okay? As you come up, the further you come up, the further you rotate till you're squeezing inwards and pulling your upper chest up into your chin and squeezing your chest together as hard as you can at the top here. That's a rep. Up and in. Let it come out and around. Up and in, hard as you can, okay? Hard as you can inwards, hard as you can upwards. Let me show a little higher now. Kind of look at my chest from this angle, and then I'll go show a side angle too, so we can really paint this picture properly. Okay. And that's... Where's that putting me? Too low. Alright. So, good. So same thing. Hands are going to be doing the exact same thing I just showed you. Now you're going to see it from up here. Okay. So I'm leaning back. I'm getting my chest angle right. I'm leaning back. This is why you have to brace the back of the bar against something like a T-bar. You're pulling backwards, trying to slide the bar backwards. Okay. So you're leaning back now, coming up and in, hands are rotating, internal rotation, inwards and upwards, okay? I'm trying to drive my own upper and inner chest up through my own head, okay? Squeeze it so hard it wants to cramp, and pull upwards. Squeeze inward, twist inward, and pull upward. 3 things, all at the same time, for a crazy good contraction, okay? Let me show this from the side. Show this from the side here, so you can kind of get a upper body angle picture. Because again, this, you know, you don't want to work your traps, okay? So the angle here, if you're like this, you know, you're working traps. If you're like this, you're still kind of working traps. But as you get back more, like this, and you come, look at how the top of my chest is flat, okay? My shoulders are going to go up towards the sky as they come into, it's like I'm trying to squeeze my own jaw with my shoulders, but they're going up towards the sky because I got the angle right. So as my hands internally rotate and I squeeze inward and across my chest, I'm also pulling up into my own jaw. Okay? Okay. So that's the T-bar-ish setup for the Nether Chest Shrug. Let me show you guys one more cool thing here. Let me try from over here. This, I believe, will actually help you learn to do this by practicing doing it with one hand, okay? First, let me show a little bit lower view so I can show what to do with your one hand. For the one-handed version, you can have your bar sitting on a low setting in a power rack. You can just have it on the floor. You approach the end of the bar, okay? You're now facing the opposite direction you were before. And it helps to weigh down the other end of the bar, okay? The butt end of the bar, weigh it down heavy so it's not going to be easy to drag towards you. Because when you do this one, you're going to actually lean back and pull outwards on the bar. So you're going to need to put a clip on the end here, so in my case, so that what I'm picking it up with doesn't slide off. Okay, you see that? So I'm pulling back a little bit as I do this. So one hand, same thing now, same rotation, but this hand's out of the equation. All right, I'm pulling across my body. You even want to try to push across your body into the center. So you're internally rotating, you're squeezing inward, and you're pulling upward all at the same time. Okay, in and up, squeezing, rotating, pulling inward and upward. All right, now let me show you a higher view on this so I can show you how to easily teach yourself to do this right, okay? Your free hand, when you're doing the one-handed version, this is how I taught myself to really contract these muscles. You got a free hand, right? Put it on your inner upper pectoral, where you're aiming for here. Get your stance right, and now each rep feel how hard you can make those striations pop and push into your hand, okay? The harder contraction you get, that's the form you want. You want to be able to squeeze this so hard that it's screaming and trying to cramp, okay? Now, like I always say, everybody's bone structure, physiology is a little different. Your stance might not be exactly the same as mine. That's why you need to do this one-handed version and figure out the exact positioning that you can get the tightest, hardest contraction right here. I'm talking painful contraction, okay? When you do it right, it's incredible. Let me show a different angle. Let's look at it from right here now. All right. It's a little low. low for me. Let's try this. Okay, so same thing, we're doing the same thing. One-handed. Again, put your other hand where you're going to be aiming to contract, right here. This is your upper pecs from here up, and they run at a more upward angle. That's why this works. But anyway, put it here, dig your fingers in nice and deep, pull up and in and across and feel it. When you get the best contraction, that's the form you want, okay? Once you've really trained yourself with a few workouts one-handed how to do this, then you can start using both hands at the same time and you'll be able to feel that contraction. Internal and coming up. Squeezing the inner chest, twisting internally to rotate, because that's one thing your chest does. This is why people who bench press all the time end up shaped like gorillas like this, because they're all internally rotated, is they don't have any upper back strength to match it, you know, to balance it out. But for working the chest, that internal rotation is a big part of what it does. You're not going to hurt your shoulders are out of the way for this, okay? So you're internally rotating those fibers, they're squeezing in and they're pulling up, all at the same time. That angle works very well for your upper pectoral fibers, okay? But again, if you end up working your traps, your angle is not back enough, okay? This is still traps. Even if I'm squeezing my chest, I'm actually lifting the weight with my traps. Lifting with traps, lifting with traps, lifting with traps. And now somewhere around here, it starts to change over to where now, this is why I need a nice board to lay on at the right height to get arched onto it, to pull, you know, with the behind the back barbell version, to pull here. When you're at this angle, your traps can't bring the weight this way for you. They can't bring it towards the sky. Only your chest can do that, okay? With a two-handed cable version, you're not leaned back quite as far because the contraction's different. You got to feel this for yourself. That's why I say start with the one-handers, and when you got it down, when you contract this so hard, it's hard as a rock, and there's just striations and everything, that's the form you want. Do that with your two-handers, okay? In, across, up and back, all at the same time. All upper chest. Get the angle to where your traps aren't doing it for you. Okay? Use your front traps for this. As crazy as that sounds. Alright? So that's tutorials on how to teach yourself how to do the Nether Chest Shrug. Okay?